Greetings! Here we are at Austerlitz. Historically, the coalition armies, the Austrians and the Russian, had occupied the Pratzen, which the French had slipped off of. Napoleon was playing the card of, hey, I'm really weak, I'm afraid of what's going on, I'm not secure here, trying to lull them into an attack, thinking they could fight. The trick here is that the coalition player would know exactly what the French had coming on, and they wouldn't do anything so silly as to come off and attack the smaller appearing French army. So in this Austerlitz game, by pub battles, you can start with a smaller army, and then all you have to do is survive the fight. Or you can start with a larger army, and then you have to win. If the coalition army wants to win, and you have the smaller army, they have to get attacking right away and smash you. And while they're attacking right away, if they find out that you're actually bringing on everybody, then they need to scramble back into defensive positions and hold you back. Now, rather than what you can do in your ordinary rules with your smaller army is bring on everybody but a couple of corps, and you bring on Napoleon. I like to always bring him on with the guard because he always has the guard with him, which leaves Bernadotte's corps and Murat's cavalry off. Well, if you don't have to win, that's not so much. So, yada yada yada. What I've done instead is said, let's divide this army in two, because if Napoleon isn't bringing everyone on and wants to lull them into an attack, he should have enough in his other army to actually cause some damage somewhere else. So what he has here is simply the 4th and the 5th Corps. The rest of his army, look at that pile of blocks there. The other 4 corps and Napoleon don't come on if you choose to have only these 2 corps. If you bring on everybody, game plays as normal. If you choose only those 2, then everyone else comes on as dummy HQs, and the remaining 2 French corps have to last the battle. I play double blind solo, so I'm playing as if the coalition player does not know the French player's tactics. The coalition player has 3 reserve cards. In his reserve cards, he has 3 large attack forces: Bagration's corps, Doktorov's corps, and Colerade's corps. The other HQs are just decoys, and then you have the smaller 2nd and 3rd HQs defending the Pratzen. Turn 1, these 4 corps of the French will be coming on as decoys. Turn 2, Davout's 3rd Corps comes on as a decoy. Note that in this variant, Napoleon does not appear at Austerlitz. He and the other 4 corps are out somewhere else causing problems. Maybe getting ready to attack after the coalition army has worn itself out, attacking Soult and Lanay. Here are the 8 turns. The first 3 turns are in heavy fog. Heavy fog reduces visibility to 1/3 of an infantry foot move. That's all the farther anyone can see for the first 3 turns. Afterwards, you can see the full movement. Okay, I've drawn Davout's 3rd Corps. Doesn't come on till next turn. Lanay's 5th Corps. He's defending. He's not moving at this point. French Guard. French Guard, who typically move with Napoleon, I'm placing here. Again, because I'm playing double blind solo, these are just decoy counters, and I'm leaving them flipped up so you can see what they are. This is Napoleon himself and Bessières. Doktorov. Doktorov moves forward. Very mountainous terrain, only moves 2/3. 5th Corps, Liechtenstein's cavalry. Cavalry mounted moves farther than foot. I'm going to have him move to there. Now, of course, he's a decoy, and the French player wouldn't know that that's just a decoy. Bernadotte comes on and begins moving off to the French left. Bagration's advance guard. They move forward. Murat's cavalry. Now, theoretically, were these 2 corps here, even though off board, you can assume the troops are lined up behind him. So Murat couldn't just run up here through all the troops, move on. He'll come off this way, move along here, around wide. He would actually get, we'll say, he's right to the top of the hill, east of Wellnitz. This is north, south, east, and west. Russian Guard under Constantin. They hide just behind the hill here. Colerade's corps. Excuse me, that was Kenmeier's corps. This is Colerade's corps. They're moving there. Nobody can see where they are. The French cannot as yet determine what's in these Austrian HQs. I'm going to try to remember to say coalition. The coalition is the coalition of the Austrian and the Russian armies. I may say Austrian, I may say Russian, I mean the coalition army. The other side from the French. Petreshev's 3rd Corps stays right where they are. Langren's 2nd Corps stays right where they are. Soult's 4th Corps holds their position. They're defending. That completes turn 1. Alright, here we are. Turn 2. Prebyshev, he will stay. Murat's cavalry goes up to the hill. Kenmeyer hides in this town. Both of these, unknown to other players, are decoy counters. Bernadotte moves into Wellnitz. Now the opposing players wouldn't be able to tell if these guys are avoiding contact because they don't want to betray that they're decoys, or avoiding contact because they don't want to betray that they're the real deal. It's only turn 2. Kohlrath charges in. Doktorov's corps fades to the center. It might be risky, but Linné sends detachments forward to try to determine what the strength is as cavalry ride over the hill. This east is all Linné's stuff, but most of this is all detachments. That's an actual cavalry unit, and these 3 units here are real. Langren's division holds tight. Advance guard moves to there. Still not sure if this is going to be the real deal or not yet. Both of these units were revealed as decoys. Liechtenstein's HQ is placed by his corps. These are his 2 cavalry. And Constantin is placed back with the rest of the Russian guard. We're with the advance guard, so the Russian guard is here. Soult wants to confirm where the enemy is, so he moves up on Bagration's corps. And the HQ in front of him, which turns out to be Bagration's corps, his orders are not to attack, he spots them and falls back. Bessier and Napoleon move to go around and flank the advance guard. Davout comes on. Liechtenstein's cavalry attacks the flank. Alright, over here on the far right, Kohlrath's force runs into nothing more than a simple detachment. First round they do no damage, so the detachment falls back. Here in the center, the Hussars charge. Another detachment. The detachment is ridden down and destroyed. You should catch at least partially on the camera. That's just a detachment. And finally, the Austrian dragoons crash into the French Hussars. The dragoons are driven back with heavy losses. The Hussars were sitting just east of Sokolnitz, and the dragoons must have been broken up by the attack. Turn 3, the last fog-bound turn. Kohlrath's 4th Corps, as all of this, continues the pressure. These 2 units are part of the 5th Corps, so they don't move yet. 1st Corps under Doktorov. The cavalry. Now, the first time any of the French become exposed, they'll know that only these 2 corps are here because the French will just here. Davout gets exposed. He's exposed within range of this Hussar unit. Davout's not real. He's not there. If Davout isn't there, then none of these other French units are there. So now, Davout got too close, or the line had collapsed too fast, however you want to call it. Now, the jig is up. Although that just happened, at this point, the advance guard doesn't know that. Bagration's men move forward, combat the French. The guard is not on the board. I'm going to start pulling these decoy HQs out of the bag, set them aside. The guard cav rides wide. Infantry races to keep up. Davout's 3rd Corps is not there. Linné's 5th Corps, all of it this way. They continue to fall back. Remember, all these lakes are frozen. They're just clear terrain. Linné races forward and orders his units to fall back. Has his Hussars reorganize. Prebyshev's 3rd Corps, up on a hill holding the Pratzen tight. Bernadotte's 1st Corps does not appear. Kenmeyer, he moves forward. The French player would not know that's just a decoy. 4th Corps, Soult, Van Damme, flank attacks. Hilaire defends the position. Beaumont rides out to cover the flank. Legrand moves to cover the town. Artillery remains on the hill. Liechtenstein's 5th Corps, moving last, can be the advantage for the attacker. They flank Linné's Hussars. Combat turn 3, last turn of heavy fog. Elements of St. Hilaire's division are attacked by the advance guard. And they are driven back. French are driven back. Van Damme's counterattack on the advance guard. Actually, that was 1st Corps. Doktorov's men are driven back. In the cavalry battle, Hohenlohe's dragoons are driven back. His chasseurs à cheval are driven back, but Walthier's cavalry are lost. Remember, only actual infantry blocks, full infantry blocks, count towards breaking the army. Cavalry and detachments don't count. Turn 4. Bagration's advance guard attacks across the Goldbach. Kenmeyer's decoy is taken off as his actual corps in Doktorov's reserve rides out. The hussars slam into Van Damme's flank as the infantry fans out around them. Again, Landgren and Probyshev are sitting on the Edenpratzen. Liechtenstein recovers his cav. His heavy cav recover. The Russian guard comes alive. Their cav runs into Soult's cav, and their guard infantry run into Holler's elite. So it's elite upon elite. Now Soult moves. What's Soult gonna do? At this point, it's all fighting withdrawal. Colrate's 4th Corps continues to sweep up. Although the Russian troops are exhausted, Doktorov doesn't want to pass up this opportunity and pushes them into the French line. Soult is being overrun and sends word that he needs help. Launay is falling back as fast as he can in good order. Turn 4, combat. As the French have been falling back, there is combat going on, but the actual decisive combat is here. Soult's Corps, part of Van Damme's division, is being attacked by the Russian 1st Corps under Doktorov. Van Damme's Demi Brigade falls back, pushes back the artillery as well, disorganizing it. Turn 5, French are in a tight spot. Turn 6, the French are in a tight spot. They're going to try and hold the line. They haven't really suffered any casualties significantly yet, but then they haven't held it place yet. They're going to try and hold here. Colrate's 4th Corps continues advancing forward. Doktorov's 1st Corps. He pushes his exhausted troops on because the French are exhausted too. Places his artillery on the hill. Landgren watches from the Pratzen. Bagration's advance guard continues pushing. Kenmeyer's 1st Austrian Corps drives on the French. Liechtenstein's 5th Corps, these two here, charge into the French line. Constantin sends the guard cav around the French flank. Infantry crosses the Goldbach and stays in reserves as the artillery trundles up the road and gets ready to bombard. Launay is falling back. This here is all Launay. Pulls his precious bags back. This is a valley here, and his artillery cannot see the Austrian units. With the fighting withdrawal, Launay expertly pulls back his corps. They can't pull back forever, but they can come together in a tight knot. And that's what they're going to try and do, if Soult's line can hold. Now we see Soult, who's been just fighting delay all day. As the evening begins, he's holding. The guard, heavy cuirassiers, charge Beaumont's dragoons. The dragoons fall back. And here, with the hill advantage, Holler's best troops fight against the Austrians. The Austrians are destroyed and the cavalry falls back. And here, more Soult's infantry holds off against the Russians' advance guard units. The French would have liked to have held, but they cannot, and they fall back. And finally here, Doktorov's corps slams into Soult's retreating division. Van Damme holds on as long as they can to allow the artillery to be pulled to safety. The lead Russian units fall back in confusion. And here in the center, the remnants of Van Damme's division, their best units, hold against a flank attack by Kenmeyer's Austrian division. Van Damme's infantry falls back rather than face the swarm of cavalry, unable to form square against them. Turn 6, the French position continues to weaken, but their losses have not been great up to this point. First up is Launay's Corps. Launay's Corps falls back, holds their position. Launay and Soult are now conferring on how to best save the situation. And Soult is drawn next. This is fortuitous. He unpacks bags. Two divisions recover on the heights. Part of Legrand's division falls back in good order at the top of the hill. St. Hilaire's best troops fall back in disorder, attempting to recover. Soult recovers his artillery and Van Damme's best men guard them. Bagration's advance guard drives hard in the center. The artillery moves forward to position itself on the hill. His hussars recover. 1st Corps, the Russian units right here. They drive forward. Their artillery moves up. Colrate's 4th Corps keeps the pressure on. This is the 4th Corps down here. These two cavalry are with Liechtenstein's 5th Corps. Colrate moves first, moves to there, therefore these are all in combat command. The Russian Guard. Again, the Russian Guard hits hard on the French left. The Guard infantry advances. The Guard artillery positions itself on a hill. Kenmeyer's 1st Austrian Corps moves forward, sends some detachments against Launay's left flank before driving his main forces hard against the center. Liechtenstein's cavalry pushes hard. Probyshev and Landgren watch from the Pratzen. As I suspected, turn 6, it all comes alive. Uses almost all of my combat markers. Okay, here we go. Finally, Soult's Dragoons get caught up. They can't fall back any further. Although the Grenadiers are stymied and stopped. Elements of Bagration's advance guard crash into Soult's infantry. When the smoke clears, or at least is left remaining, the smoke is left remaining, the French still hold the hill, and the Russian attackers have been scattered. Again, Dokhtarov's very exhausted troops continue pressing on Soult's infantry. Cavalry drives off the lead Russian units and then retreats before the second round of combat. Vendôme's exhausted but elite infantry attacks, holds. Again, Dokhtarov's attack has been driven back by Soult's determined men. Kedmire flank attacks a French detachment. No, it was Lanné's artillery. Excuse me. Lanné's artillery fires first and destroys the Austrian hussars. Well, they were attacked their flank, so he didn't destroy them. They're just driven back. But the artillery falls back. So they couldn't hold that combat very long. And here, a couple Austrian detachments attack the French line, which happens to be the main part of 5th Corps' infantry. Detachment destroyed, the other detachment falls back. Here we have Liechtenstein's 5th Cavalry Corps. Their heavy cav attacking just French detachments. The second detachment retreats, first one is lost. And here we have the 5th Corps Dragoons. And here the Hussars, the 5th Corps Hussars, attack the French division which has its defense in depth with detachment out front. And they ride off. The Hussars are only there as a diversion. Colerate's main drive, attacking a French detachment. French detachment is destroyed. Now we clear the board, we come down to turn 8. I could do some funny stuff with this the Hussars. Instead of rallying them, I could have them race off to flank this French unit, but that's a little too organized for a unit. I don't think they would do that. They're going to recover, they're going to drive. We can leave them spent and say they're following that one up. That would be within a realistic opportunity. Kedmire's 1st Corps presses forward, cavalry spins, attacks that. Detachment comes and contacts in the front, so it's spent, so it's flanked. Stutterheim's Hussars charge the exhausted French infantry. Landgren still watching from the hilltop. At this point, the advance guard has almost nothing left. Their artillery can see this French unit and they fire, pushing them back. Oh, they have their hussars here. Hussars heroically ride through the town and they can contact Legrand's troops right there. Colerate's men, these are all Colerate's men, advance forward and contact the packed up bags of the French 5th Corps. The French 5th Corps has not moved yet, so they'll just simply be able to move away. 5th Corps. 5th Corps is these French units right here under Lanné. Bags run away. This attachment falls back covering the bags. Having nowhere to go, the artillery spins and holds. They only need a half unit width to fit through here, so they fall back. Yep, over half. Fall back like that. And that's it for 5th Corps. The Guard Corps, the Guards Hussars chase the French Dragoons and retreat as they retreat. And the Guards attack the French from the flank, who are then joined by the Russian Life Guards and the Grenadiers. Prebyshev's 3rd Corps up here on the Pratzen. Dokhtyrov sends his last unit in, Ursaw's infantry. And in a very powerful moment, Soult's 4th Corps is drawn last. He gets to choose which combats he fights. He's unpacked his bags. We have 2 combats in the center. This one in front of the bags is the only one that really matters. Therefore, let's get into this. Tired Austrian infantry attacks Lanné's artillery. Artillery gets fired first, and they cost the Russians another unit. Vendôme's elite units, though spent and they cannot form square, are attacked by the Hussars. They are run down and destroyed. And finally, Soult's Legrand. Scratch that. And here we have Legrand's division, the remainder of it, fatigued, but defending the bags against Wittgenstein's Hussars. The French do no casualties. The Hussars inflict 3. Oh, eliminated. And they would have lost this too. The French have lost 5 infantry blocks. I don't think that's half. These are huge corps. They started the game with 8 and they lost 5. They've lost over half their army. They broke. So it was kind of the last combat of the last turn. The French army broke. That was intense. I'm going to keep, as I go through in the cycle, I'm going to keep trying this out and seeing how it goes. The French have a very tough battle, but it's not a given in either way, in my opinion. But please, I want to know what you think of this. Comment below and like and subscribe. Good game.